Okay.
Good morning.
Yesterday, where we are is the hare, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines from the bottom. The third word before the end of the line. I think that's where we stopped. So yesterday, today is a big mop-up operation. First of all, Reish Lakish. Okay, Reish Lakish to the opinion about that Yichud alone is Kona. We asked the Makashi yesterday. We said we had a brisa that said that if he stole it and they were magdish, that he pays kefil, but he doesn't pay 4 and 5. And the reason is why, because he doesn't pay 4 and 5 because it's hegdish. What do you mean doesn't pay 4 and 5 hegdish? He says he can't have magdish if it wasn't after Yehush, and yet you see that the only reason he doesn't pay the 4 and 5 is because it's hegdish, and you don't say, well, he doesn't pay 4 and 5 because he owns it because of Yehush. So he says, no, he says he's making a mistake. That's not what happened over here. What happened was that the bialim, okay, were magdish. Pardon me. Yeah. We said that the bialim were magdish in the end. If that's really true, so we have a problem. If the bialim were magdish, and we went through also. It's really before Yesh the bialim were magdish. Good. No, and we had a problem with the Hakal Bali Magdish. We said, okay, we have an opinion that they can Magdish. We have a problem when the Bali Magdish, if a person performs an operation on something, so here, he was Magdish, it came back to him. Okay, by definition, what's the law, for example? Here, let's say if a guy stole something, so if you catch him with the stolen object, he pays double. But if he gives it back to the owners, he's not going to pay. If he gave it back to the owners, and then we catch him, so to speak, it doesn't make a difference. He doesn't have to pay double. He returned it, exactly. So same thing over here. Why? What good is it? Okay, if they over here, so no, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about a shvua here. A shvua here. Yeah, no, we're not talking about. I'm not sure why chat is a shvua. Is it a shvua? Remember, you make a shvua here. I'm saying, but he's making a shvua. I'm saying, but he stole. Is the point? He did steal, but he gave it back. That's the point. Because see, I have to think. I'm not sure. Okay, 1 second. Okay, we do, but we gave it back to Karen. Okay, when they were Magdish, when the owner was Magdish, it says like he took it back, and therefore what? So why does he have to pay? Why does he have to pay kefil then? So the Gemara says no worry. Now the answer is what? Because the court case already happened. No, but the court case that obligated him to give it back already happened before the owner was Magdish, and so that's why he has to pay. That's why they pay the kefil. No, the opposite way. The court case happened, so now he got caught before he gave it back. Before the owner was Magdish and took it back, he ready the court case. He was chayv kefil. That's the point. It's
that can be one of the two.
Yeah, but he has to. But I'm saying, but once he can give the thing back, but he still has to. He has to give the object back, and he has to, and
if it exists,
and he has to double it. If it was as long as it's there, he has to give it back. They have an argument when he was miyash what to do. Okay, but over here, the case is he says what he was before Yehush, and it was before Yehush. So the owner was magdish before Yehush, wasn't here. So therefore, yeah. So the court said give it back. Okay, good. So now, so we said, 1 second, how can that make any sense? Let's figure it out. And this setup is a little weird. Today's kash is a little weird. The way it's set up is not normal. It says, let's take the analysis. What the basin do? If the basin actually made a psak and said pay him my area higdish, then who cares what? If he was magdish, he doesn't pay 4 and 5. I feel low higdish. If he didn't magdish it, he still shouldn't be obligated to pay 5. Because we learn, okay, once the basin paskin then said what you have to go pay him. If he shechted it or sold it, butter, he's exempt. Okay, my time was it came into paskul the mill. So since they already gave the psak din, but tabach and only after that did he shecht it or sell it. You're right, he's a bum, but what? He's not a ganav anymore. They know who he is. He's a shomer. He's a shomer. He's just a shomer. He just stole it. They all know he is. And there's what the Gaza and there's no 4 and 5 by Gaza. There's no capable by Gaza. There's no 4 and 5. What's going on? Okay, so what's the other possibility? They didn't paskin it in. They just told them the halacha. The halacha is you have to give it them. So now it's in that such a case. If he was Toveach and did a Shechta their shoulders, he has to pay 4 and 5. My time and why do they paskin also? Because they didn't paskin it yet. So therefore, what? So okay, so that's not called the Gemara din, and he's still the thief, he's still a ganav, he's still in his previous status of ganav. He's chasi ganav, he's still a ganav. Now this is hard because you just told me one of the possibilities is fine. So what's the kasha? So the Gemara says, "Lo trichel, don't worry, I'm going to give you a teretz." The Amrle. He says, no, it's what told him Chayiv, and like we said, and therefore what he's still a Gara, because it wasn't a Psak, and therefore that's still 4 and 5. Now, it's very strange because the whole kasha doesn't make any sense. They told you one possibility was fine. So he took the fine possibility. What's the kasha? So the answer like this, and this is something I pointed out to you in the past, but here I get a chance, I get a pedagogical opportunity. And remember, I've always told you that here, what do we do when we want to raise a difficult somebody? We want to make them look bad. If we could disprove them, we would have proved it. Kashas don't prove anything. They just throw mud on everything. The kasha just keeps making the guy's position worse and worse and worse. It doesn't make any sense. It's very hard to believe what you're saying is true. So now, if I have a text and I have to add a circumstance, okay, to the that wasn't written, that's called the parish dochok. That's called hard pressed explanation. He loses a point, so to speak. His argument is weak. It could be true. It doesn't look very likely. Well, what if he has to? What if he has to? So it's bad enough to have to add a circumstance, a parish dochok to it that wasn't written there. Well, if it meant it, shouldn't have said it. But if you have to add 2, it's really bad. So here's what happened. We take a look. Not only do you have to tell me, oh no, it's a case where he went to Basin, and not only a case where the Basin, but they told him the halal, but they didn't tell him the psak there. Would you give me a break with a capital B? All those conditions and not a word of indication of the text. That's a hard pressed explanation. That's what we do in the court case. In the courtroom, what we're doing, we're trying to put the guy in a corner and show, listen, it could be true, okay, but really doesn't look very likely. Yes, and that's exactly what we're doing. So over here, you have 2 conditions in the text, and neither one's written. Thank you very much. That's a hard press. So that's why, even though this kasha looks very difficult, that's what I think it is. That's not me. That's a sure. Okay, Gufa. Okay, now get ready. We're going to be on one subject now for a good while. What's the point like this? And let me say it outside for a minute, and then because in time we follow the argument. Yochanan has told us that when something is in your ownership but not in your possession, if I'll use some kind of word, okay, you can't magdish it. Essentially here, so essentially you are, even when you're an owner, if you're not in possession, you're not quite the owner that you're supposed to be. Okay, so you can't magdish something, even though you own it, but it's not in your possession. But Steve has it. Sorry, buddy, you can't do it. But you own it, but here you're not. You're a big deal owner. You know, saying you can't even touch the thing. You can't get. Okay, so he says you can't manipulate it, so to speak, legally. Okay, good. Now, Yochanan is also famous for something else. He's famous for a lot of things. One of the things Yochanan is famous for is that whenever the Mishnah is written unsigned, it's not an opinion in the Mishnah is not written in somebody's name. That's the halacha. Why is that? That's a trick of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. What's the trick? He said, listen. He says there's lots of opinions, but when the Chachamim say something, you know that's the halacha. That's what everybody said. What happens when is an individual opinion, but Rebbe wants that to be the halacha? He doesn't write the guy's name. It's a trick. Why? Because now what he's showing you is, listen, this is everybody's opinion. This is halacha. He said, so but he makes the Mishnah stop even though somebody said by removing the person's name, he turns into the standard. He standardized the opinion. Oh, he erases the name. We don't want you to see this. Oh, this is only this rabbi. No, it's everybody. Okay, good. So Rabbi Yochanan holds a stam Mishnah as always the halacha. There's another thing that he holds, which is strange. He holds halacha always follows Rav Shimon Gamliel, except in a couple places. So number one, but one rule he holds is what? So let's say he holds one, that if you own something but it's not in your possession, your ability to manipulate it is minimized, is lessened. Number 2, he holds that any Mishnah that's unsigned, that's the halacha. Number 3 holds that Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, the name is always the halacha, always followed, except a couple cases which are famous. Otherwise, the halacha always follows. This combination of things is going to get Rabbi Yochanan in trouble. Why? going to show him that a Mishnah that was unsigned is against what he said. We're going to see that you can make something hagdash. You can manipulate something. You can manipulate hagdash. You manipulate your object, even though you're not in possession. Even though you're not in possession of it, your ownership is not diminished by the fact that as long as you own it, you're not diminished by the fact that it's not in your possession. So that's going to be the issue for the next while. And the end of today is going to be this. We're going to say, you know what? He spoke in a way that almost like so to speak, argumentatively shot himself in the foot. He took a position that makes life harder that makes it harder for him. And the other rabbis say, you know what? Had he not given us the rule that he gives, there's a lot of things we could have done with this that we can't do. That's the whole page. That's everything that's going to happen. So first we have to defend him against his own rule, because he said a halacha that's going to be that his own rule says shouldn't be true because he has a Stam Mishnah against him. And then we're going to show that one of the things that he said in the process of the argument compromises him. And other rabbis said I wouldn't have been compromised because had he not said that, I would have read everything differently. Okay, that's everything that's going to happen. Let's take a look. Gufa. Amar Rav Yochanan, and he said, what if your guy stole it and the owners did not despair? Nobody can sanctify it. The husband can't do it. He doesn't own it. The owner, even though he owns it, because it's not in his possession. So he can't. He's not in control. Could Rav Yochanan possibly said something? But Amar Rabbi Yochanan, didn't Rabbi Yochanan give us a mega rule? Halacha kastam Mishnah. Halacha always follows an unsigned Mishnah. And now we're going to bring you an unsigned Mishnah. And I said a Mishnah that's not attributed to someone that says what? That you can magdish, that you can, or the equivalent saying what? That you can sacrifice something that's not in your possession. Now, get ready. This next part, to make it easy, we're going to be quoting a Mishnah, but every single second the Gemara butts in. Every line of the Mishnah, the Gemara explains. So it's the Mishnah, the Gemara explained it. Utanan, well, what is the point here? We want to help people. But let me explain two things from the outside. You know that our law, any food in the first few years, is utterly to get benefit from it. It's over. You can't really. The Karen McGoy, the third year, the fourth year, it has the same rule as Meiser Sheni. You should take it to Yerushalayim and eat it, or money and redeem it and take it there. But for sure, unless it's redeemed, you're forbidden to eat it. Okay. Furthermore, you know that any place where there's a grave, so you don't want to, a Kohen or a Nazir can't go there. Can't go become totally by the grave. So there are 3 areas that we're going to want to mark off for people. What is that? We're going to mark off our law. People should know, even though it's the Shemitah year, everything is, and everybody's allowed to go there and eat what they want. So when he said, listen, even though you're right, I have already stopped for me, but this stuff does to you, it's our law. Or I want to make a sign say, listen, even though I have no right to stop, but keep this without one it. Or here, I want to mark a grave, let you know, you're a Kohen, or you're to stay. Okay, so I want to mark it. So now the Mishnah is going to talk about how we mark things, and the Gemara is going to explain why each particular marker is a good marker for the particular thing that we're trying to warn the guy about. Which now we learn. Karen Ravai, if I have the 4th year of the vineyard, okay, Mitzayna, so bekazuzos. How do we what do? We surround it with clods of earth. Now, why is that a good marker? To tell that that lets everybody know that it's Karen Ravai. Because why?